Alright, welcome back to another video. It is November 7th today. So, I'm out here. Today I got the power washer. I'm gonna power wash a little bit of this manure spreader because we have a bearing out. Got a bearing out on the beater right here. So I have a new bearing. We bought it aftermarket. And this one has a grease fitting. You can see this one's a little less sturdy, but these original bearings don't have grease fittings on them. So I'm going to go ahead and power wash that and a couple other small spots in the spreader so we can grease it, oil it, and get ready for the winter. I'm not going to do the whole spreader because we use it every day. And then it'll make kind of a mess of everything around here, so I'll just do a couple of smaller important spots. So I'm going to get the power washer hooked up. The milking machines are just finished washing for the morning. We had a couple small problems with it this morning. Mom fixed a bunch, and when I came back to the barn after breakfast, there's another issue, so got that fixed, and now it's going through the last wash cycle of the morning. There you go. Yeah, I didn't get everything. I just kind of cleaned up in the box there, the front of the tailgate, front of the spreader, the beaters, so we can cut all this off. It's all net wrap from the bales that we top over in the heifer barn. It's not that bad. This is what 2 years of net wrap looks like. But here's the bearing that I have to replace. There's also, I should have washed the tire a little better after, but this tire here is down to the cords, so I washed up the rim. Yeah, there's not much life left in this tire at all. Alright, I ended up cutting the collar off the old bearing. I didn't really need it anyway. The new one has one. You can see here there's this cover that mounts to the spreader right here. It used to have more metal to it. It used to actually wrap all the way around. Then the bearing would sit right in here and it would protect it, or it'd actually sit this way around and it would protect it. This new bearing has a grease fitting on it, so I want to get a cover back around here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the welder and try and weld up a new cover here. Might not be perfect, but I'd like to do something, and it's got a crack in it. So yeah, pretty sure a new one of these would cost like $150 or something. So if I can weld something up in an hour, I save myself $150 or so. And that was American price, so yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. See this one, same issue of it, rotted away. But when this bearing goes out, I'll pull this off and I'll weld it up too. So yeah, there you go. I got this thing all welded up. I gotta trim it still and then make a hole for the grease fitting. But that's what it looks like, all roughed up. I've just been cutting metal off this old blower chute out of one of our silo loaders. It has a kind of hole in it in the bottom that we patched up, but it's wore out. So it's a little bit of welding to do in there still, I guess. But other than that, it's looking pretty good. Alright, there you go. I put it all back together. We're cleaning heifer barn now. So yeah, it's the bearing on and the casing that I welded up. Looks pretty good. These aren't holes I melted in it. These are holes from the material. These are grease fitting, or fitting, because it's a greasable bearing now. So hopefully this will protect the bearing, and since it's greasable now, hopefully we'll never have to change it again. Even so, this manure spreader is I think a 2016 or 2018, so 6 or 8 years old. so it lasted quite a long time for it being a bearing that you couldn't grease. So yeah, that's the first bearing we've ever had go out on this Manure spreader. So we're good there, but I don't know, I think it looks pretty good just for grabbing a bunch of material and welding it up. See, I cut it down. We got these wheels here greased where they pivot. Mom greased them. I put new grease fittings on because they were seized up. This tire here is all cleaned up so that when this tire goes flat eventually, the rim's still clean enough we can just pull it off, bring it to the tire shop without having to power wash it. Cleaned up the whole front of the spreader too. They greased the PTO shaft and we oiled the chain under the fire cover. So this thing is all ready to go back to work with its first load of manure. But yeah, there's the beaters. Mom went ahead and cut all the twine off while I was welding up that cover. Looks pretty good. And there you go. I got the manure spreader all cleaned off. We always scrape it off after every load. Unless we're hauling manure, then we don't. Then we'll just scrape it off at the end of the day. But that helps to keep it clean. So yeah, should be good to go for the winter with this manure spreader now. So it only really cost us our time, and then it cost, I think that bearing was $52 plus a little bit of material out of the shop, but not a whole lot of anything. Pretty cheap. Next thing we have to work on sometime is this tractor. Gotta clean it up, and then we'll have to do an oil change and put it on the bale chopper. Alright, I'm gonna end off this video by showing you one last project I'm working on today. You can see over here we have a PTO shaft. This is one of the ones off the New Holland wagon, if you recall. Got all twisted. Kind of just twists and snaps. This wagon has a problem, but we can't properly figure out what the problem is until we have the PTO shaft fixed. So I'm going to fix the PTO shaft, and then my farm mechanic who comes out and fixes stuff that I don't get to or I don't know how to fix, he's going to look after this wagon. But I just have to put a new piece of pipe in, so I have to cut it off, grind it, and then put the new piece of tubing in, and then I'll be all done with this wagon. The other one I'll have to do a little bit of work on too. But yeah, this is off our New Holland Ford's wagon. There you go. So that's the old piece of tubing, just a square piece. Actually, it's a little bit of a rectangle, so you can't mess up how you put it in there. Now I'm going to grab the other one and slide that in here and weld it on. And there you go. The welds don't really have to be perfect because most of the holding is actually done in that square piece inside the shaft. You just have to prevent it from moving. So we're good. Alright, there's the shaft put back together. I didn't cut it any shorter, so it's still too long yet. But while we're testing it, if this tube that I welded on twists and breaks, then I'd be able to cut off another 6 inches. That way, if something were to happen, we aren't out our big long piece of tubing. The old one I had cut down and welded just once more after, so this one we'd be able probably to cut shorter and weld twice if something were to happen. So yeah, but I got everything laying out here, all the clips and everything to get it on the wagon, along with some other small parts for that wagon. So now I am done. The wagon is sitting out in one of our fields right now, so otherwise I'd show you what it looks like. But yeah, that is all I have for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.